So LSS has finally released the print run numbers for Monarch, and it's not pretty. 125K. 125K. Let that sink in for a minute, people. 125K. Are you completely out of your freaking mind? What is happening? Is this Clownsville? Like, what is going on? Honestly, I mean, I knew for the longest time that this print run was very high. We all did. All the telltale signs were there. There was people that were arguing with me the last several months in YouTube video comment sections, telling me that they only printed like 60, 70K. Well, they're going to be eating crow now, because that did not come to fruition. And I knew it was going to come to fruition. Personally, I thought it was going to be between 80 and 90K, and I thought that was way too much. The highest amount that I wanted to see was like 75K, and that was too much in my opinion. Because personally, I think Crew should have been 24K, and I think Monarch should have been 37,500. And I know a lot of people are going to start going, what the hell are you thinking? But this is first edition. This is not unlimited. You have to understand there's probably another 250,000 unlimited boxes out there. Like, it's absolutely asinine. They're acting like this game is like Magic the Gathering already, and it just freaking came out. It's not that big of a game. It's not. Not that many people really know about it. So why are we acting like it is? I think it should have been 37,500. Fight me if you don't agree. I mean, honestly. Because in my opinion, you have to grow slowly. Look at Genesis. I know it's not a very big game, but their first set came out with like literally like you can count the amount of freaking boxes that came out on one or two hands. And then even like the third set, they were only printing like a few hundred boxes. And I'm not saying that they should only print a few hundred boxes of fab. That'd be ridiculous. But what I am trying to say is if you want to be a successful company and you want to stick to your guns and not just bait and switch people, and you say that you're focused on collectors and then all of a sudden you change out of nowhere, it doesn't make sense. You don't just start printing massive amounts of boxes out of nowhere. It's a slow growth. Your game has to grow slowly. It's not a hard concept to grasp. You can literally pull a drunk bum off the street, and he's going to make better decisions than what James and LSS is doing right now. It doesn't make sense. It's been blunder after blunder since Crew came out. Literally since I hopped into this damn game, they've just been making the stupidest decisions. James White is sitting up there in his ivory tower, has no idea what's going on. He literally disappeared for months. Before then, he was doing a bunch of interviews. Doesn't show up to any events. Doesn't give a rat's ass about anything. Has no idea what's going on, truly. And then he finally comes out, and all he has to say is Fab 2.0. What is Fab 2.0? He said literally nothing, but everybody is praising him. That new interview that he did a few weeks ago, everyone is praising him because he just opened his mouth and said Fab 2.0. I could say Beanie Babies 2.0. I could say Pogs 2.0, Furbies 2.0. It means jack shit. I'm sorry, but I need some actual substance if you want to keep me in your freaking game. And of course, I'm just an investor for the most part. It's not like I play the damn game or anything like that. So it's fine, whatever. People can argue all they want that I have no right to be here and I should just leave. That's, neither here nor there. But the point is that you completely failed. If you want your game to grow, you need these flippers. You need the investors. They are healthy for your game. That's where the hype is. And while the hype is going on, you're selling product. Everybody's talking about your game. It's great. You're going to piss off some people. That's just the nature of it. That's just how it works. You can't, make everybody happy. It's impossible. We all know that. It is impossible. You can't do that. But you need those investors. You need the flippers. You need the scalpers. You need all those people in your ecosystem for the game to grow. Eventually, you're going to grow out of it. If you start ending up in like a bunch of stores like Walmart and stuff, yes, you're just going to print the stuff to oblivion. It's the way it is. But when your first few sets are coming out, the print run should only be going up a little bit at a time while your actual player base and collector base is growing. You don't just jump from 24,000, well, in this case, 16,700 to 34,500, and then all of a sudden jump into freaking 125K. It doesn't make any sense. Like, who in their right mind came up with this shit? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, all these new TCGs are doing the same thing. They're all doubling their print runs every single set, which I think is a massive mistake. I think MetaZoo is overprinting. The good thing about MetaZoo is they at least kind of realized it and they stopped putting out second edition. But still, it's a dangerous, dangerous thing to start falling into. You don't want to overprint. As soon as you overprint, it's done. If you underprint, you're fine. There's a lot of different ways you can kind of recover from that. But if you overprint, you're done. You are done, Johnny. It's just the way it is. It's the way it is. Even Rudy thought it was going to be 100K. I thought 100K was not going to happen. And then he was throwing out numbers like 150, 200K. And I said, are you on crack? If they're putting out 150, 200K boxes of Monarch, they need to just go bankrupt right now and start selling kitchen utensils because they have no right to be in the trading card business. No right. And even at 125K, that is so asinine. It's not even funny. It's so asinine. It doesn't make sense. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. Really? Where I would have been comfortable, I know 37,500 is kind of, it's kind of a bit much. I get that, whatever. But, I mean, it's not a bit much. It's actually a little bit, you know what I mean? It's not much at all. But, in my opinion, fine, up it a little bit more. Up it to 50K. Up it to 60K, but it shouldn't have been more than that. It really shouldn't have been. And like I said, the upper echelons of what I would have actually accepted is like 75K. I wouldn't have felt great about it, but I would have been like, okay. You know what I mean? And boxes probably would have started going up. I mean, think about it. Why has LSS not put out the numbers until now? Because they knew they were high. If they weren't high in the first place, then these numbers would have come out months ago because it would have stopped the bleeding. And this is one of the biggest arguments that we had because they're doing all these different things like making sets go out of print. And that's another thing that LSS does all the time now. They just did it again. They made all the other sets. Tales of Aria is already out of print. Everfest is already out of print. Like, what is going on over there? It's like this company's being ran out of a crack shack all of a sudden. I mean, we had all this faith in LSS and James because they've been working on this game for years. And now all of a sudden they're making the stupidest decisions. And it's like they're panicking every single time when they see the negativity and they just make a set go out of print. Crew was out for literally 3 months. Unlimited Crew for 3 freaking months. And then they put it out of print. What trading card game does that? It doesn't make sense. It's the stupidest decisions I've ever seen. Like, who is running this company? And then all the shills, all the players, you know what I mean, that are invested in this game, I mean, they get butthurt and then they try to defend these stupid decisions. But you can only defend it so far. And you start seeing the dumbest stuff. We're going to look at some of these things in a couple minutes here. Some of these comments I've been seeing. But it doesn't make sense. Like, what is going on over here? Like, why are we making these decisions? I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. I mean, it blows my mind. Does it not blow your mind? What is going on? So why are we upping these print runs so damn quickly? And now we're saying screw the collectors. The collector market is completely gone. It's completely gone. And there lies the problem. Because all these people are saying, well, it's not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? This is just going to screw over the investors that wanted to flip the boxes tomorrow. And like, that's fine. I don't care. I plan on holding my shit for a long time anyways. That's not the problem here. Really, it's not. The problem is you are ruining the name of Flesh and Blood. Because people came in this game expecting to collect cards. People came in this game expecting to have like a nice, consistent, strong economy, strong market. And none of that exists anymore. The name Flesh and Blood has been completely tainted. You understand how many people have left this game because of just the Monarch situation. And then when Tales came out, they all got screwed a second time. Even I was an idiot and I bought into it because I thought they're going to bounce back and like lower the print run and be smart about it. But I think they printed more freaking Toa than they printed Monarch. I would not be surprised if they had like 200K of freaking Toa. Seriously. And then they go and they put out Unlimited after the fact. After first edition already tanked down to like $80. And now you can get literally first edition Toa for like $5, $10 more and you can get unlimited. And the cost of first edition and unlimited cards is literally the exact same. The market is completely dead. It's like they have no idea what's going on. Finally, they realized with Everfest that they didn't put out an unlimited for that before it went out of print. But for crying out loud, who knows how many boxes of that they got out there? It's like they're catering to like a fan base that's like 10 times the size of what they are. I don't get it. I don't get it. So all these people are arguing that it's fine. You can hold the boxes long term. This just means that players can get a hold of boxes. And that's not what first edition is for. Do you understand? First edition is mainly for collectors. And in my opinion, you can have a different opinion, but I think first edition should be sold out within the first like week of its release. That's really what it's designed to do. It should only be printed to a fraction of your actual fan base. Literally, that's what it should be. And I understand that poses other problems because stores are going to hold back product and this and that. And that's when you have to go around kind of like Metazoo does. And you have to punish LGSs that are throwing this shit out for too cheap or throwing it out for too much. Whatever they're doing, whatever shady stuff they're doing, you have to go in there and kind of control it. And it's not an easy thing to do. It gets messy. I get it. It's not a perfect world. Nothing's going to work perfectly. But that's how it should happen. And then people go, well, then how are players supposed to get a hold of cards? Because they should come out at the same time. Unlimited and first edition should come out at the same exact time. It's not a hard concept to grasp. I don't understand the system now. Oh, we're going to wait a month. Like, that doesn't make sense. Why a month? It doesn't make sense. because it's either you do it the same exact day or you wait like 2, 3, 4 months down the road. That's normally like a normal system in a TCG. But 1 month? What is this 1 month wait? And then you overprint first edition to compensate because players need to get whole cards when you could just put them out at the same time. You had the logistics to do it. If you're putting out 125k boxes in your fourth set, you had the logistics to put out unlimited first edition at the same time. Don't tell me you don't. You do. You do. Okay, James, you do. I'm sick and tired of looking at your face, your smug ass face, smiling like an idiot. I'm done with it because, quite frankly, every time I hear freaking Flesh and Blood now, I just want to curl up into a friggin' ball and scream my brains out because this is getting ridiculous. Like, literally, I honestly, I mean, I got money invested in this thing, but I would be okay right now if it went to 0 and this game completely died. I'm not saying that it's gonna. It'll probably survive just because it's a fun game. But you got to understand, when frickin' Fab came out, there was not many other games out there. Now there's tons of TCGs coming out that all are pretty fun games and all are very appealing. And a lot of these games could take Fab's place, in my personal opinion, because now you got all these people pulling out, back to the point that I was trying to make, all these people pulled out. Tons and tons. And with 125k, all the people that were on the fence are gone. I guarantee it. They're running for the hills. Probably a lot of players are leaving. I'm hearing there's a lot of broken cards. There's a lot of cards that are overpowered. All kinds of stuff is going on right now that's causing people to leave. And these people are not coming back. Many of them are never going to come back. And that's the problem. You should be 2 or 3 times the size of what you are right now. But these blunders are completely hindering your growth. I've looked at your Instagram for the last few months and it's hardly moving. Freaking Metasu's just going through the roof. And you're hardly moving. And I get it. Some people are like, well, look how many people showed up to the friggin' tournament and this and that. And it's like, that's great, but that's worldwide. It's worldwide. I mean, Louis Wissaner's like 20k players. I don't believe it. Truly, I don't believe it. Maybe there is, but I mean, that's all they got going for them at this point. And it's just going to keep declining and declining and declining. And that's the problem. You have tainted your name. So to come back from that now, it's going to take so much more work, so much more time. And a lot of these people just don't seem to care. I don't think they can grasp this concept. I don't think they can do it because there's a lot more at play here than you think. There's no more trusting LSS and Flesh and Blood and James and everything else. You can't trust anymore. They're making the stupidest decisions. You know what I mean? They're bait and switching us left and right. They're not paying attention to the market. They clearly dropped the collectability of their game. They're saying that first edition is probably not even going to be a thing anymore. Like, what happened to catering to freaking collectors and players at the same time? That's what a lot of these games strive to do. And if you didn't want to do that, then don't come out the gate saying then that's what you want to do, because now you're getting all these people invested and now they're done because now they're sitting out a bunch of cardboard that's not worth anything unless you got like the very earliest stuff if you're lucky. But a lot of us got completely screwed. And you can say, well, you should have bought an MSRP. Whatever. That's great. That's fine. That's dandy. I don't care. But you're ruining your game at the roots. And that's what these people aren't getting. Your game is being ruined from from underneath you. It's crumbling. You may not feel right now. You might think everything is fine, but it's not fine. It's not. It's not. All right, let's look at some of these freaking comments because I'm about to freaking like blow an O-ring here. This is getting ridiculous. So this is Kitchen Table's freaking video that he put out here. And some of the stuff that I've read in here is completely asinine. Like, I don't understand. Like, it doesn't make any sense. 100 to 125k was what I was hoping to hear. Over that would have been bad. While this is a high end, I'm not gutted. And 8 people like this. Like, what do you mean? 100 to 125k is asinine. Excuse me. It's asinine. You just went for 37,500 boxes, and now obviously you're jumping 125k. Who does that? Is your game growing that fast? No, it's not. And that's another argument people have that I've been seeing down here. A lot of people are like, well, you know what? There was all the hype going on at the same time. How are they supposed to know how many people actually were in the game? It's not a hard concept to grasp. You push all that noise aside, just like Rudy says. That is noise. That's market noise. You don't care about that. You don't. You just think about it to what's actually logical. And you go, we're going to, small jumps, man. We're going to go up 15, 25k at a time. We're going to keep it simple. We're going to keep it small. It's only the 4th set. This is a brand new game still. We're still growing. Like, you shouldn't be hitting 100k, in my opinion, until like your 6th set. Really. Honestly. And these people are just going absolutely apeshit with the print runs. I don't get it. But let's continue to look down on these freaking comments because there's some crazy stuff here that just had me banging my head against the wall. I don't understand. I don't understand. Not a crazy high number either. I mean, I don't, like, how is it not a crazy high number? I honestly expected 150k, but it was close enough. Like, I mean, how are you even expecting that? Like, it was completely out of the fathom of what I thought was even a possibility. I'd like to see the number close to the 100K mark, but I guess the low hundreds is better than the high close to 200K. This is still pretty high, though. I mean, yes, it is high. So I agree with you on that point, but like, you should be making a bigger deal out of this, and a lot of people are not, and that's very concerning to me. Yes, people wanted higher. I wonder if the huge spike in houses carrying flesh and blood influenced the numbers. I mean, whatever. There's some in here. I don't know where they are, but what absurd amount to print. Yeah, I mean, that is an absurd amount. Thank you, Silver. That's why I freaking like the comment, because this guy's actually speaking facts. Like, it's asinine. Like, I mean, there's a guy in here that's saying it's all greed-based, and I mean, I believe it's greed-based, because why are she making this many boxes? Like, it doesn't make sense. I'm not sure what people wanted. Ellis just looked at the market after Crew and made a guess at future demand. Maybe they got it right, maybe they got it wrong. Time will tell. Launching your live stream project last 3 years may not have been easy. No, it may not have been easy, but they were planning this thing for years, and you have all these other TCGs to look at, and they try to figure out. I mean, the good thing is, them being the pioneers of these new TCGs, everybody else can look at them, hopefully learn from their mistakes. But like, for crying out loud, I mean, look at this. I mean, I got pissed. I'm like, what terrible take. Like, you leave your customers wanting more. That's the whole point. You want them wanting more. If they want more, they're going to keep coming back, and the hype is there. You overprint, and the hype is gone. Nobody cares anymore. It doesn't make any sense. And you got people joking about Fab being dead. Numbers will blow everybody away. Yes, they will. And that's what I'm saying. It's probably 200K for Toa. It's absolutely asinine. Doesn't make sense. On one hand, 125K is less than most doomsday predictions, but on the other, it's a doomsday freaking prediction. It's a doomsday reality. We're living in Clownsville. 125K for your fourth set. Like, what is going on? What is happening? These idiots, man, I don't know what they're saying. They don't even deserve to be commenting. Monarch First Edition has been tanking for the last 6 to 12 months. You announced a print run much larger than was expected. Logical trends for the secondary market remain soft. Well, yeah, of course it's going to remain soft. I mean, this is friggin' retarded. Absolutely retarded. But I'm trying to find somebody's comments here, because I saw some that were just absolutely asinine. Too high, but not enough to cause panic. There's panic going on right now. There's panic in the frickin' disco right now. Like, this is asinine. Like, come on. Prices will continue to drift downwards as far as from confidence inspiring investors. Of course it's going to drift down. Why wouldn't it drift down? 125K is too much. I 100% agree. I don't think it's too high given this was a decision made in the middle of some extreme hype. They had to make a decision based on the information that was available at the time. I think the institution is not very concerning what number they had decided on for tails. God hope as they went for high. Yes, they did go very high. I almost guarantee it. Even if they printed the same, that's still too many boxes even for your fit set. But here's the thing. How did they make a legitimate decision there in a time of hype? I don't understand, man. I don't understand. I mean, are you that stupid? Are you that dumb? I mean, the thing is, I recorded videos about Flesh and Blood like a couple months ago where I was talking about this very thing, because this is what I worried. I never put the video out. This one's definitely going out. There's so many videos I make I just don't even end up putting out because I just don't like it or whatever. I know people are going to get mad at me and this and that, but this one has to be put out. This one has to be said. Like, I have to say it because, you know what I mean? I'm just so pissed off at this point in time. And the fact that nobody else is really coming out and making a video about this is crazy to me. There's like hardly any videos, which goes to show you that Flesh and Blood is not nearly as big as you think it is, because there'd be so many more videos talking about this, and there just isn't. It's a freaking ghost town. Like, I don't get it. So don't act like this game is bigger than it is, because it's not. Now let's go over to this video here. These are exactly my thoughts. The only way you can really consider Mon overprinted from the perspective is a free trendy's short-term investor. That's not the only people that are getting screwed here. It's everybody involved in Flesh and Blood, because your name is tainted. Your game is dying. The game is on life support. Rudy himself, one of the biggest shills of Fab, has said the game is on life support. Maybe not the actual playability side of it, but the whole collector part of it, is anybody else going to jump into Flesh and Blood at this point in time that's not in it? I mean, if they're just looking for a fun game to play and that's it, but if they're looking for anything else extra on top of that, any bit of sprinkles at all, they're running for the hills. They're doing a freaking 180. They're going the opposite direction. They're going to go for freaking MetaZoo. They're going to go for Grand Archive, Nostalgics, or Sorcery, or any of these other games, because there's so many. There's a plethora at this point in time. They're running for the hills. Like, open your eyes, please. Open your damn eyes. I mean, this is like, this guy's trying to say that the Library Solana is like There's not that many printed, so therefore it's a good print run, and it's like nice to start. Just hope it's a new player. These print runs don't affect the unlimited market. They're affecting everything. I mean, everything's tanking. So I guess as a player, you can get a hold of everything, which is good and bad, because you want some cards to hold some value. Even as a player, I don't give a shit. There's no argument against that. Everybody likes their cards to hold some value. And if everybody can get every single card, then what the frick is the point? I mean, I know some people are like, we don't want to have barriers of people that can't afford. So whatever, you know what I mean? Everyone has their own opinions on things, but like, what is happening? What is happening? What is happening? I don't know. Some of the most asinine comments are on the Reddit over here, though. Like, I don't see the issue here. Well, no, because your eyes are freaking closed. Because you're not even paying attention. That's why you don't see an issue here. You're like freaking cockeyed, like, I don't see a problem here. Peanut butter and gumballs. Good combo on my pizza. Yeah. All right. Exactly. That's exactly what's happening here. Like, I don't freaking get it. I don't see anything negative about this. This game is growing. Some more boxes were released. The game is growing, but it's not growing to the point of 125K. It's hardly growing to a point of 75K. And you want 125K. Oh my God, I just want to freaking stab myself. How am I reading these comments? 22 upvotes. 22 upvotes, and I understand Reddit is cancer. It's just as cancerous as Twitter. Everybody's trying to get upvotes. Everybody's just following the freaking sheep off the freaking cliff to slaughter. Like, I don't get it, but it's only a problem for collectors. For players, it's not a big deal. Not enough to really drop the price to singles. Oh my freaking God. It's not even a problem for collectors in the sense that I don't play this game. I just like trying to put together sets. If that's all you want to do, buddy, then go ahead and collect your sets. You don't give a shit what happens to the game if you're just trying to fill binders of cards and then moving on with your life. You're not going to give a shit. This isn't so bad. The sky isn't falling. Oh, the sky isn't falling, huh? The sky. I mean, you better hope that this Fab 2.0 actually turns out to be something. Because if it doesn't, this game is dying. Like, literally, it's dying. It's not going to be here in 2 years. Like, I'll give it that because, again, the game is so damn fun. That's the only thing it has going for it. If it wasn't as fun as it was, this game would already be gone. It would be gone. You have to understand that. And it could still be gone just like that because Grand Archive, I think, could easily take over. Now, I understand everyone's fans of anime and all that shit, but sorcery can take your other people. Like, it's I don't know, man. Like, time is going to change things real quick, and people are going to start to realize this was seriously problematic. Like, it's not just something you can just sweep under the rug and act like it's not a big deal. I'm not sure why some people are whining and crying that this is too much. Freaking Sloop Dupe, one of the biggest shills of Fab, yet again. A little over 3K Fables and 5K of each legendary. That doesn't freaking matter. It doesn't freaking matter. Everything is overprinted. There was Fabled. There was one sold for 2,500, 3,000, whatever. Short term, that's going to burn, but the price box will always go up with time. At least 3 good cards in the set. Yeah, over time. And that's fine. I mean, if you want to say, you just got to hold on your boxes for 5 to 10 years, and then maybe you'll actually make some profit. You know what? Like I said again, I was planning to hold my shit long term anyway. But that's not the freaking problem here. That's only like looking at a tiny little bit, and you got all of this to look at, and you're not looking at the big picture. You're honing in on that, and that's what people do. When you're fanboying over something, when you're deeply invested in something, and you want to be positive, you're going to dig into the part that you want to focus on, and then everything else you're not going to look at. I like to look at everything. The big picture. Doesn't matter what side I'm on. I'm not trying to be biased. I'm looking at the big picture. And as everybody, even if I was a player right now, I'd be pissed the fuck off. Because I know I'm coming in as an investor, but even if I was a player, I'd be pissed the fuck off because I'd be like, unlimited is for players. This is for collectors, mostly. I can understand some players can buy into it, but for crying out loud, like, what is happening right now? What is happening? I love these numbers. Good job, LSS. Good job, LSS. Good job, LSS. Oh, let's praise James. Let's praise LSS for making the best decisions ever, the most logical decisions, for baiting and switching us, for destroying their collector market, for overprinting everything to shit, for making broken-ass cards, for not giving a rat's ass about anything, to be completely honest with you. Yes, good job, LSS. Holy shit. Price isn't really moving based on this, so looks good, neither bad. Yeah, okay. Yeah, definitely. I mean, the boxes have already plummeted so far, like they can't go much lower. They really can. I mean, they could. You know what I mean? They could tomorrow. I'm not saying that they couldn't, but in reality, how much they've fallen, like, It'll be a little blip on the freaking graph at this point in time if they went down any lower. This is crazy. I mean, a couple people in here are speaking, you know, actual valid stuff. Like down here, all the people that are just been downvoted to oblivion, you know what I mean? They, for frick's sakes, man, I hate Reddit. This is so dumb. So, you have all these people that are actually saying some, like, legitimate criticism, and look at this, downvoted, minus 27, minus 21, minus 15, minus 11. Like, it's crazy, and, like, these people are actually speaking, like, some facts here. Like, way to miscalculate. Crew was 2 more times than Arc, and Monarch was 3.333 times more than Crew. Toe was 4 times more than Monarch. I mean, yes, there's some, you know, reality, yes. I mean, it just goes to show you the fanboys and the shills, you know what I mean? They come in here and they just try to sweep everything under the rug. And Fab is a disaster zone. Fab is absolutely a disaster zone. And some of these lunatics that are defending it, like, open your eyes, please. Open your damn eyes. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for you to jump on my back and ride me 100% all the way down to friggin', you know, dump this Gamesville. But at the same time, at least acknowledge more than, oh, this is just for this is only going to hurt the quick flippers that are trying to make the tendies. Because that's not the facts. That's not the reality. The reality is your game is falling farther and farther and farther down, and everybody is leaving, and it's getting tainted more and more day by day. Every single blunder that happens, and this is the biggest one yet. This is what everybody's been waiting for. This is really the crossroads that kind of decide, do a lot of people want to stay on, do a lot of people not want to stay on, because it's going to help us project the numbers for future sets. And the last thing I want to talk about here is the transparency. Every single new TCG game that comes out at this point in time should be putting out the print run numbers as the sets are actually released. Look at MetaZoo. They put them out before the sets are released, so people know, do I want to buy into this or not? The only people that don't want to do that are ones that are afraid that their product isn't going to sell. And why are you afraid your product isn't going to sell? Either A, you're overprinting it, or B, you just don't have any faith that the product is good itself. That's the only reason. If you have faith that your product is going to sell, like Mike Waddell does, then you can put out your print run numbers before the set comes out and still sell out your sets. Why are we waiting a year before we get our numbers? If you're going to go for transparency, you got to go all out. It doesn't make sense to do this half in, half out bullshit shit that freaking LSS and James is doing. It doesn't make sense. Give us the numbers beforehand. At this point, I don't even give a fuck, but because you've already ruined it. Like, this should have been the way it was from the very beginning. You know what I mean? And now we're like 6 sets in, and it's I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore. I'm done. I've been rambling enough, and I want to go kill myself now. So if you're invested in this game, I'm sorry. You're in the same boat as me, and in the same boat as many, many, many of us. And if you're a player and you love this game, well, continue to shill it, whatever. You're going to shill it to the ends of the earth anyway. That's just the reality of it. Hopefully a couple of you people can open your eyes, and I mean, that's really all I could do. Is just, you know, maybe James LSS will come across this video since there's very little of them out there. It's very possible. And hopefully he watches this whole thing to the end, because there's a lot to learn here. And yeah, I'd like to speak to you one-on-one and ask you why the hell you came up with these print run numbers. Like, what were you thinking? What were you smoking when you came up with these numbers? Because there must have been some kind of clam bake going on, because if not, there's no explanation for this. There just truly isn't. Like, it's one of the worst miscalculations, one of the biggest blunders I've ever seen in my life. It really is. You might as well printed like 500,000 of these boxes, in my opinion, because that's basically what it's equivalent to. And yeah, so thanks for watching this video, and maybe I'll put out some more content about TCGs in the near future, since I've been buying into so many of them, and there's so many different things I love to rant and talk about. But for the time being, Flesh and Blood is not looking good.